Carl Sagan could not.
Ashton Forbes, you know, that super jacked guy.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night. Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
Even as these grainy satellite images released today by the Chinese government.
Why shoot it down, though, if it's not hostile?
Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space.
Why the Americans would?
They leave distance annihilated.
This country is very powerful. Far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world. Not even close.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
Storm's here. Dark Ashton has arrived. It is time. Holy shit, it is time. Vindication. Do you feel it, chat? Do you feel it deep in your bones? That sweet, sweet feeling of vindication. This is why we do what we do. This is why we live stream. This is why we go out on a branch and we say, you know what? Yeah, we did melt some Venezuelans that were protecting Maduro, and we would do it again. We would do it again too. We are doubling down. USA number one numero uno. If you don't feel it, if you are not fully immersed in this, I don't know where you're at. I don't know where your head's at right now. This has been an amazing day. Now, if you, for some reason, are living under a rock and you're wondering, who is this guy? And why is he so excited? Why is he wearing sunglasses inside at night? Because I like it, bitch. No. Really. United States has figured out space-time manipulation. You say, Ashton, that sounds crazy as hell. It's not crazy. It's not. Space-time manipulation basically comes down to energy density. And if you simplify that concept, you can say all we need is really powerful lasers. And we've had those lasers. We've had those lasers. So the United States has weapons that are based on technology. The idea that everything is a wave, abusing quantum mechanics, that is beyond anything the public is even ready to accept. The idea is that we could beam energy over a vast distance efficiently. The idea that we could actually teleport an object from one location to another. These ideas that have been foreboding are now coming back to the forefront, and Trump is saying it directly. So let's get right to it. We've got a lot to get through today, guys. In addition to that, we're going to play some clips and have a little bit of fun, but also the big story that was overshadowed by literally acquiring Greenland. Actually, chat, Redditors, Greenland is for sale. Oh, yeah. You know what? By the way, sorry we're getting sidetracked, but I might have to go back to my list I made like a month ago. Starts with Venezuela. You got Greenland on the list. We got Cuba on the list. We got Iran on the list. And you got Canada on the list. I'm going to go ahead and say that all 5 of those countries Let's just say that you are in relegations right now. If this is for my foreigners that understand the footballs, the soccers as we call it here. You are in relegations right now. You best don't be slipping. We catch you slipping, and you might have Delta knocking on your front door. Okay. Now that we've said that, the other big news, in addition to Trump acquiring Greenland, is that we have found lost footage of the GOAT engineers that we have never seen their faces before. Part of the reason why I'm wearing sunglasses is because I'm probably going to cry a little bit. Is he kidding? Who knows? Okay, let's get right to it, guys. So first and foremost, I bookmarked a bunch of stuff because we got to go. We got a lot to get through here. Let's start with a fun one, though. Part of the reason why we're never going to get disclosure, and if you're having a hard time with that, you're having a hard time coming to terms with that, well, no, it is what it is because this is how seriously people are taking this. So there was, nobody was really paying attention, but there was this press conference that James Fox held, and it was basically just like every lib you can think of that's in the UFO community was going there to pat each other on the back for how awesome they are. But there was no evidence presented. It was just like, some dude sitting by the campfire telling stories, which honestly, to me, it feels dated already. Like it feels like something you would have done in like the 90s. We're going to hold a press conference to talk about some stuff. Okay, cool, bro. You're just patting yourself on the back. It's all about you. It's not even about really revealing the information anymore, right? And I'm kind of disappointed, although, look, I'm kind of like Trump. I might throw shots at people. If I throw shots at you, you probably deserve it. You probably deserve it. Doesn't mean I won't be chill with you, hang out with you, have a conversation with you. In fact, I would hope for those conversations. It just turns out that the people that are on the other side are generally pretty fragile. And instead of having those conversations, they just want to block you or ignore you or try to cancel you. Anyway, Congressman Burleson has been really sucking up to these guys, which is also disappointing because he's a Republican. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe the aliens gave me and only me the psychic power. Maybe some of you also have it. But I can just sense when people voted for Kamala Harris. I don't know. It's like the kid in Sixth Sense. I see dead people. I see libtards everywhere I go. And I know James Fox voted for Kamala Harris. I don't know how I know, but I just know it. But he's hanging out with them, bro with them. And it's okay. You can hang out with people that voted against you. But like, don't you think that maybe his worldview might be a little different than yours? Like maybe he might be living in fantasy land a little bit more than normal people that want to talk about quantum mechanics. All they want to do is talk about the aliens that somebody saw in 1970s. Who cares, dude? Whenever it was. I literally just care that little. Anyway, here we go. Here's Burleson speaking.
They wouldn't have done that had it not been for an outcry from the public that was demanding answers. And it's my hope that your film and others like it will create that kind of momentum and that outcry. Because the truth is, if there's any government that's holding information about the knowledge of whether or not we are alone or not alone in the universe, that is not for any government, no matter how powerful it is, to withhold from the rest of humanity.
SEALs all clap. Like, guys, chat, I'll take the glasses off. If I was a real grifter, if I was actually a grifter, I would be appealing to those people. You don't think I can say some gay shit like that and make the SEALs clap? Okay, hold on. Let me put the glasses back on. Chat, the most important thing in the world is that we validate these people's experiences and their absolute love for thick white butts. Those aliens, this is the most important thing in the world. And if the government knows, has been chilling, talking, telepathically communicating with the aliens secretly, the public, we don't just deserve to know. We have a God-given right to know and demand the truth, and they cannot keep it from us. Ooh, real spooky stuff, chat. Look, man, I can't do it. But I could. I could if I wanted to, and I could grift the shit out of you guys. But instead, I just give you guys the hard truth, and I don't sugarcoat it. I don't make that pill go down easy. You're choking on it. We're choking on that red pill. It's too much for me. Yo, you're going to swallow it. You're going to swallow it, and you're going to like it. Okay, keep going, Burleson, with the gayest speech I've ever heard.
We are here to serve the people. This government belongs to you. You don't belong to the government. And never forget that.
Literally predicted it. I didn't even know what he was going to say right there. I just literally said, did I just say, I told you guys, aliens downloaded psychic powers into my brain. That's how I knew what he was going to say. It's not because I'm smart. No, it's because I have psychic powers.
And so I'm here to serve you, to try to get the truth to the people. We're working diligently to do that in the committee that I'm on, and I have a responsibility in that regard. I want to say thank you to these courageous individuals, my new friends from Brazil.
Muito obrigada aos meus novos amigos brasileiros.
Thank you for your courage and your willingness to, risk your reputations and your careers for something that will benefit not just people of Brazil, but the rest of the world. Thank you.
Obrigado pela sua coragem de arriscar a sua reputação por algo que vai beneficiar não só os brasileiros, mas o mundo inteiro.
I want to say thank you to Kirk McConnell. He and others have been doing an amazing job at pushing this forward in a thoughtful way, helping people like me. I was a financial advisor and a software consultant. I had no idea when I ran for Congress that I would be doing this. But
he was a software consultant? Interesting. Idiocracy crazy. That's basically it. Like, and doesn't this just feel like there's two feelings I'm getting here. I'm not even going to play the rest of it. I've had enough, frankly. One, pageantry. All this pageantry that's going on and all this self-congratulation. You're so brave. Great job. You're so awesome. I hate that. I even hate when people tell me that. I hate that stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's just the way that I am, but I always feel like I just want to be doing the next thing, even when I deserve it. And a lot of times I just don't even feel like I deserve it. So to do a press conference like this and just be self-congratulatory with no real reason, it's not like there's some new evidence or something. They're just doing it just to do it, It feels like they're not really taking it seriously, honestly. It feels like they're not really taking it seriously. And there's absolutely no way. If that's where you're looking for truth, for disclosure, let me just tell you right now, it's never, ever, ever, ever coming from those people. Not in a million years. The people hiding this information are running laps around those people. What you just saw right there is exactly what they want you to be doing, wasting your time, doing press conferences about stories that people heard. Doesn't push the ball even one iota further, doesn't get even one person closer to whistleblowing, doesn't educate anybody about literally anything. Nobody has any idea about the technology. Nobody even knows more about the aliens. The craziest part is these people don't even know about the aliens. They're just like, yeah, they have the alien bodies. Which ones? Like asking somebody about the Epstein list. Which Epstein list? I don't know. The one that they say they have. What do we really have here? We have nothing. Nothing. Okay. I ranted enough on that. Let's get to the fun stuff. Trump. Holy crap, Trump, chat. Okay. Let's start with this. Trump is winning on everything. Not just buying Greenland. He went to Davos and smack talked everyone. He straight up did the you're a bitch, you're a bitch, you're a bitch, you're cool, you're a bitch, I'm out. He straight up did that in person. And I don't know how you can't love and respect it. So we got to watch at least a few clips. Yeah, and he did it for hours. It wasn't just like he did it for just 15 minutes, like went up impromptu and destroyed them, including Emmanuel Macron, who I don't think I have that clip queued up, but makes fun of the fact that he was wearing sunglasses because his wife beat him up. Look, I'm using air quotes on wife because you know what? I'm just going to stand back and watch the lawsuit between Macron and Candace Owens with my popcorn and just see what happens. But anyway, I digress. But Trump bitched him pretty hard. I'd be mad if I was Macron, I would be mad by how hard he got bitched, to give you some context. Okay, here we go. I'm not even going to give you the context in this one. I'm just going to play it.
Windmills all over Europe. There are windmills all over the place, and they are losers. One thing is that the more windmills a country has, the more money that country loses, and the worse that country is doing. China makes almost all of the windmills, and yet I haven't been able to find any wind farms in China. Did you ever think of that? It's a good way of looking at it. They're smart. China's very smart. They make them, they sell them for a fortune. They sell them to the stupid people that buy them, but they don't use them themselves. They put up a couple of big wind farms, but they don't use them. They just put them up to show people what they could look like. They don't spin. They don't do anything. They use a thing called coal mostly. But China goes with the coal. They go with oil and gas. They're starting to look at nuclear, windmill.
Wow. Okay. I mean, if you weren't fully yoinked already before that, then there you go. That gets you ready for the stream right there. He just lays down the truth nukes about windmills. Totally fucking worthless. You lose $1,000 every time it goes around. Oh, I can't wait to say that. I'm going to say that to everybody on every podcast. And I'm just going to be like, Trump said it. Trump said it. I don't care if it's true or not. I hate windmills so much, I don't even care if that's true. We have been regressively thinking for so long. And honestly, I'm starting to wonder if it's literally just not all. Maybe it's not just the Democrats. Maybe it's more of like the Uniparty. They got us to do this stupid solar shit. Solar and wind, and they brainwashed everybody into thinking it was going to be good. And it turns out it's horrible. We should have been doing nuclear power. We should have been splitting the atom and fusing the atom. And instead, we're making useless fucking windmills that are more toxic than our previous sources of power generation. Because some stupid ass hippies lied and said it was a good idea. And it makes me crazy. And I start to think about like, oh, well, look at the war in Iraq. Why were we in a war in Iraq and Afghanistan for like decades? We could have just got out anytime we wanted. Nobody even had a plan to get out. Trump took over a fucking country in one night. In 3 hours, we just took over Venezuela because we were smart. We realized we don't have to occupy a whole shithole. Fuck that shithole. Just take their leader and it's over. Use your advanced weapons, take out their leader, and it's over. And so Trump, we rolled up. You somehow have been living under a rock. We rolled up on Venezuela, middle of the night. Turned out all the power of their whole city. We clearly hacked their entire power grid. It wasn't just an EMP. We hacked their whole power grid, shut off their power grid. We had some kind of force field or something going on because Trump says we fizzled one of their missiles. He says one person fired a missile and went back on them. Trump said that. He confirmed what everybody had been saying about this report coming out of Venezuela about these secret weapons that we used during the raid. He says, yeah, we used some crazy stuff that nobody's ever seen, and we got more stuff that nobody's ever seen. Who was it that got us into those forever wars? It was the libs. It was, well, really, and you say, Ashton, no, it wasn't the libs. It was the Republicans that got us into those forever wars. Was it? Was it? Who supports George Bush right now? Who supported Dick Cheney before he died? It wasn't Trump. It wasn't Trump. It was Bill Clinton, Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. Those were the people that supported them. Now we see all this fraud too. Beyond belief amounts of fraud. We're talking possibly trillions of dollars if you add it up. The whole government's basically just one fraud system. And they've just been letting that happen. They've just been letting that happen. Anyway, I digress. Let's listen to more Trump. Okay, here we go. So windmills, biggest scam in history. Biggest scam in history. Let's get to the weapons here. Let's go to this one, which is the best clip. Sorry, we got a lot of clips here. Okay, we'll just do this one. Okay. There we go.
So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. They said, what the hell is going on? Those defensive systems were made by Russia and by China. So they're going to go back to the drawing boards, I guess.
Holy shit. Let's go. Yeah, Lulu, get involved. Holy crap. She couldn't have timed that more perfectly. Trump not only confirms everything. I love the people they were hating. The people, the blue-pilled NPC normies. They were going, no, it's not, they didn't use anything special. Those people are just making up fake stories. There's those technologies can't exist. That's not how science works. Excuse me, sweetie. Science doesn't work that way. Neil deGrasse Tyson didn't tell me that. Oh, okay. Well, you might have to go back and, double check your notes. Go check your facts on that one. Turns out the president kind of outranks random academic science communicators. Wow. So he says, and I like he even adds a part too. He adds part to the story. He says one of them tried to shoot it and it came back down. What? How the hell did that work? We already knew that we had like people maybe disintegrating. We had people bleeding out of their eyes and ears. Trump's gleefully smiling about it. Holy shit, chat. I love it. You know what? I just want to say to the deep state out there, if this is your doing, if this is your way of making some sort of amends to me, of trying to get me on your side, it's working. Holy shit, it is working really well. It is. I mean, bravo. If this is a deep state thing where it's like, hey, you know what? This guy's starting to reveal this. Let's just start using it and zapping people, especially zapping communists. Wow. Wow. Bravo. Honestly, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. And I want to see more. I want to see more. I'm saying, I'm going, previously Canada was looking untouchable. Canada was looking untouchable, and they got to be sweating a little bit right now. Nothing is impossible. As Salvatore Pais taught us, there are no impossibilities, just conditional possibilities. For example, people say there's no way Canada, I keep saying China, Canada will become America's 52nd state after Greenland. And I say, And then when they find out that we got magical orbs, they'll teleport them to the moon. If they don't, they might become more amenable to that negotiation. Just saying. Just saying. Also, just saying, airplanes tend to fly a lot better in the sky when you're on the side of the United States. When you're not on the side of the United States, sometimes, randomly, airplanes will just disappear out of the sky. And no one will ever see them again. Even if they have really important people on them. Doesn't matter. Just remember that, Canada. Just remember that, Cuba and Iran. Oh, this is my dream, chat. This is my dream. Oh, bootlicker. Chat, get me some more boot. Everybody has a boss. Let me tell you this. I want to address this. Because I see actually people with Nick Fuentes' followers who think that he's a bootlicker or being a neocon. Sometimes you're just on the winning side. Sometimes, you're just on the winning side. And let me ask you this. What would you prefer? Would you prefer we go back to everybody's taking advantage of the United States and we're allowing infinite illegal immigrants in our country? Our economy is going to shit. You basically work and slave away to get nothing in return. You get no technology whatsoever, and we don't get to talk about it. And if anyone talks about advanced technology, they basically label you a pseudoscientist and destroy your life. So basically, anybody who tells the truth gets their life destroyed. Is that what you want to go back to? You want to live in that world? If you want that world, brother, go ahead and go live in China. Go ahead and go live in Russia. Go experience your communist utopia. Whatever weird shit, there's imagination in your head where you think this idealistic version of reality will exist. Go for it. Nah, man. I'm just living in straight up reality where the people that have the teleportation weapons and the laser weapons and gravity manipulation, those people win. Those people win. And frankly, if we're just being real honest, Trump is doing this in a beautiful, efficient way. He's not going out there and being evil and taking people out for no reason. And he could be doing more. Like, he's not being the dictator that people imagine he is. He's making calculated moves. Calculated moves, and he's being super efficient about it. Undeniably. In fact, I think one of our battle cruisers is already going outside of Iran right now. We're basically getting them on deck right now, ready to go. Anyway, more Trump, guys. Can't get enough. So this just points out how nice Trump is. He's benevolent. Here we go.
With that, I don't know, it was because she was so aggressive. And I realized in that conversation that the United States is keeping the whole world afloat. Many places, I could give you 6, 7 places just in the people in this little area. I know every one of them. They're looking down. They don't want to see me and they don't want to stare me in the eyes. But they're taking advantage of, everybody took advantage of the United States. But I've been very fair, and I gave them a tariff, and it was fine. But I realized that without us, it's not Switzerland anymore. Without us, it's not any of the countries that are represented here. And we want to work with the countries. We want to work with them. We're not looking to destroy them. With that, I don't know, it was so...
Chat. Chef's kiss. There you go. That's the perfect response to people say that you're licking the boot. Oh, yeah? What's your response? You want the EU to be your boss? You want to lick their boot? Go nuts, bro. For me, American imperialism is as good as it gets on this planet. It does not get any better than that. And Trump just said it straight up. For any other haters that are out there, make sure you let this sink in. The United States is carrying this planet. Not just our country, but all of Western civilization. All your countries in the West, you think your countries even exist without us? We saved your ass in World War II. Period. End of discussion. End of debate. Germany would have easily taken all of Europe without us. So don't talk that talk, first of all. Second of all, China and Russia are number 2 and number 3 after the United States. So you can either be on their side Go full commie, trans, hippie thing, whatever weird amalgam you're trying to create. Or you can let us protect you. So that's what Trump's saying. And people that think like this is just bluster, this is not just bluster. This is what you say when you have weapons that nobody can compete with. Because you imagine a scenario where somebody is saying this where you're not the most powerful country. If you're not the most powerful country and you're saying stuff like this to people, they're either going to think you're out of your mind or you have a death wish. Because you are just straight up pissing off world leaders with this. But with Trump, everybody's getting talked down to and they know he's right. And they're just taking it. They are taking it because they know that he's true and that they've basically just been taking advantage of the U.S., making billions of dollars off of our taxpayer money. And now that's over. Now that's over. Adults are back in charge. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Now, let's lighten it up a little bit. We got a lot of Trump clips here. A couple more. This one just made me laugh because this shows like I could never do this. I keep thinking, could I ever be this good at just working the crowd just for hours? Like, you know, just okay, it comes up with stories, but they're just perfectly awkwardly hilarious. Here we go.
These great companies coming in. Apple is spending $650 billion. I mean, it's so many. One just announced $10 billion. Toyota, met Mr. Toyota in Japan. So what's your name? Toyota. I said, oh, do you own the car company? Yes, 92%. I said, you didn't have to be that specific. But I said, you're rich. Yes, I'm rich. But he just announced he's going to do $10 billion worth of plants. I mean, it's amazing what's going on. It's amazing. We've never had anything like it or close. Nobody else has either. So I think in terms of your investments,
what's crazy is that dude's a huge Trump supporter too. That Japanese guy. But I was thinking, he goes, you don't have to be that specific. He's like tells him exactly. He owns him 92%. He's like there's just nobody that can do that. I don't know how you can be a Trump hater after that. Like I literally just don't. It actually made me think of this movie. You guys may or may not be aware of it. Here we go. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna cry.
Hello? Haro? Hibachi Benihana Teriyaki.
I don't know why I made me think of that so much. I just lose it, man. I lose it every time she goes, Haro? Haro? Reminds me of that. I don't know. Trump just doesn't give a F, chat. Does not care. Okay. More clips. Here we go. So stupid people win energy. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think is this the same one? I think this is an extension of that previous clip, but I want to play this again. And even if it's not, it's worth hearing again. Here we go.
So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it.
Okay, so that was that was the same one or an extension of that. So he says too, again, that we have weapons and that they, I think the other thing to take into account is that the battlefield has changed. The battlefield has changed. We're not in a situation anymore. I've been right about everything so far. I've been right too about we're not going to a ground war with these countries. We have weapons that can just take them out. There's other ways to take over a country. Just like you guys, movies tell us all the answer. Just make sure you're not watching the shitty ones. Batman Begins. Ra's al Ghul says we have other ways. We learned other ways to take over countries' economics. Kidnap their leader, the covert operation using Delta Force. There's other ways to get the job done. Okay, one more clip, I think. Okay, yeah, this is the part where he calls out the globalists. Wait, did I play this already? Hold on. Oh, no, yeah, I already played that one. Okay, one more. Here's the Iron Dome one. So, another interesting claim that Trump has made. This is a nice, interesting little tidbit as we segue over to the technology side of the stream. Trump says Iron Dome technology is our technology that we gave to Israel. I think this is true. At least I had heard this before. And my guess is if Trump's saying it, it's probably true. So this is why we're building the Golden Dome, because our dome is going to have directed energy weapons and orbs and space-time manipulation technology. We're going to be able to teleport nukes back onto people. We're going to be doing shit that you've been only seeing in the movies and Star Wars and stuff like that. Actually, I don't even think they have teleportation in Star Wars. So even better than Star Wars. Okay, here we go. Iron Dome.
What we did for Israel was amazing, but that's nothing compared to what we have planned for the United States, Canada, and the rest of the world. We are going to build a dome like no other. We did it for Israel. And by the way, I told Bibi, stop taking credit for the dome. That's our technology. That's our stuff. But they had a lot of
chat. China, listen up. Listen up, Israel. That's our technology. I can't even do his cadence. That's our technology, Netanyahu. Don't take credit for our shit. This is the same thing. Sometimes we have to put Russia in check. Sometimes Russia uses the N-word. You can't use either N-word. But they definitely can't use the N-word that makes things go boom, boom. When they say that, we have to take our secret Lockheed Martin submarine that can't be detected, and we have to go park it next to Russia. So don't say that word. That's not your word to use.
courage, and they were good fighters, and they did a good job, and we wiped out the Iran nuclear threat like nobody can believe. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. That, Venezuela, taking down Soleimani. What we did for Israel was amazing.
So our dome is going to be sick. Now, I think this is a different.
It's very powerful. It's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have.
Okay, you ready for this?
Interview people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. So can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
Chat. Jenga. Can you feel it? It's happening. So, whether or not you're an alien lover, the UFO experiencer, if you're a normie, or if you are just like, fresh into this, here's the rub. All this UFO lore stuff definitely connected to this technology. No doubt. The alien stuff, very possibly a psyop, but we're going to stay open-minded to it. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but they have some crazy-ass technology. They have been testing it The Air Force has, the Navy has. Actually, a lot of them have been working on it. And it sounds like they've been competing with one another too. Weirdly, we're going to get to that in a little bit. So he says, the reason why he's saying I can't talk to you until 2025. That video is probably from the 90s. The reason why he's saying that is because this technology is so advanced that our basic human minds can't even comprehend it when we see it. That's what we've learned from the MH370 videos, where we literally watch gravity manipulation planes zap out of the sky. For our basic human minds, we can't understand it. Not even 2025, we're struggling. We're struggling in 2025, and Trump's slowly letting it come out. And then people will ask me, Ashton, do you think this is being controlled? Of course. You think Trump is saying that without some level of approval? Saying that we have weapons nobody understands? Either he knows where the line is and he's just skirting the line, or he's been given explicit talking points. Because he said the same thing now like 3 times. Like 3 different times. He said the exact same thing. We just heard, I just played you multiple different clips. Okay, finish this up here.
Another individual who was an NCO, an E9, which is the highest grade you get as an enlisted man. He's a chief master sergeant in the Air Force. Was a safety specialist. He had 3 different tours of duty at Groom Lake on various programs. He had no connection with my friend who worked on the other black programs. We were talking, I interviewed him in Nellis in 1985, 86 timeframe. And I said, what's out there? And again, he looked me straight in the eye and he said, we have things out there that are literally out of this world. I said, explain.
Out of this world. There it is, chat. Okay. The big thing for tonight, guys. Hope you guys appreciate this as much as I'm going to appreciate it. Which is tonight, if you have been following my content, we had made a Black Project GOAT tier list. We have found so many engineers and Black Project engineers that it actually makes me wonder how they've been successful at keeping this covered up for so long. And 2 of those engineers, maybe 3 of them, but at least 2 of them, we're going to see their faces for the first time tonight. Old, prior to HD videos from the 90s have been uncovered. I know Tom Hudson gave me one of these, but I think it was just additional video from one of the ones that the first people found. I don't remember who exactly sent me the first one. So I apologize in advance for not knowing it. But we actually need to play the majority of both of these videos. Now, the reason why these are so amazing is multifaceted. Number one, get to see and hear from some of the legends that we have never heard or seen from before. Specifically, Robert Forward. Robert Forward, famous for being the mentor to Eric W. Davis. And he also was the guy that wrote the scientific paper proving that you can extract energy from the Casimir effect. Woo! This is the guy that wrote the paper in 1984 that showed that the Casimir effect could charge a battery and therefore you can extract energy from the 0-point energy. No doubt it can be done. Not whether or not you can perpetually extract the energy, that's a different problem. But extraction of energy, there is energy there that can be extracted. And that's an important thing to understand. So we're going to see him. We're also going to see Franklin B. Mead. Yes, chat. The secret quiet goat who's been hiding, hovering above the rest, directing Ferris Williams' scientific papers, having Eric W. Davis write teleportation physics study, having Eric W. Davis write ball lightning study. I'm going to put it all together for you right now. We have found the guys. Like, we are talking about the engineers that either directly built the orbs and figured out the teleportation, or we are found the guys that the people that built that, they stole the ideas from or used their physics to figure out. That's how over the target we are right now. For the people that want to know, are any of these guys the guys that built the orbs and the videos of them? We are very close. How we could ever pinpoint who did, it's hard to say. But I'm ready to say that Frank Mead is definitely the guy that figured out how you make these plasma orbs fly around that look like they're, anti-gravity. Perpetual or constant momentum, as he called it. And then he clearly had to be the guy that thought, oh, electromagnetism is correct. It really is the unifier. So if that's true, then that means wormholes are magnetic. And if wormholes are magnetic, then maybe we can spin these fusion reactors together and we can make a wormhole. Because that's the biggest jump in the MH370 videos. If there was just orbs spinning around the plane, everyone would be like, okay, they're balloons, they're drones. You can make up a million different excuses. The fact they make the plane disappear, show this nuclear reaction. Okay, let's get to it. Now, one more thing. This first video, this first part of this video I'm going to show you, there's a hidden Yahtzee in the very same video that shows us Robert Forward for the first time. So get excited for it. Here we go. Okay. Even I'm getting a little jittery from this. No. No. Holy shit. The video's private. They took down the video. What? Who did somebody download that? Tell me one of you downloaded it. Tell me one of you downloaded it. There is no way, chat. There is no way. Yo, hold on. Did somebody download that in the Discord? Please tell me somebody downloaded this in the Discord. Oh my God. How did they know? We started sharing it and then they saw it and they hid the video. Okay, from now on, chat. I have another video. It's not a total loss. Wow. And I recorded part of it, but I don't think I downloaded the whole thing. Funny, because right before this, I was thinking I should download the whole thing. Oh my God. I'm gonna need to download the other one. We'll find another version of that. I may have to play it later, but I wanted to there was such a huge Yahtzee moment. Okay. Let's do this. I'll come back to the final Yahtzee moment. We'll do it in reverse. Here's the clip that I wanted to play for you. Not the whole clip, but this is the one that was part of this video. So what this is from is BBC One, like mystery tales, science tales from the 90s. It's got Gillian Anderson, who is Scully from the X-Files, is the one narrating this. Yes, that woman with the red hair. Here we go.
The ability to cruise over vast distances powered by the sun.
No propellers, no roaring engines. Incredible, graceful flight made possible by one of the future's most promising power systems. Ion propulsion. Author and scientist Bob Forward is an expert on the future of transport.
Ion propulsion is where you take atoms and put a charge on them and then use that charge to throw the atoms using electric fields out the rear of the vehicle.
Not convinced? Take a look at the Ionocraft, invented by Alexander D. Seversky. A huge electric field charges up the air, ripping it into positive and negative ions, making the craft rise and fall on a mysterious electric wind.
Wow. TTB, baby. TTB.
In Brian Mott's airship, charged air will rush through the hollow core and over the sides, pushing it forward as quiet as a whisper.
Holy shit, chat. I mean, did you just see what we just saw there? Don't worry, it gets better, but wow. Wow. So, what did we just see there? He shows us basically the secret is plasma, the ion wind. How are you making an ion wind? Charge your air, turn it into a plasma, separate the positive and the negative charge. Separating the charge. Why? Because they want to attract to one another. They want to attract to one another. You can use this as propulsion, just like you see the craft levitate. Just like you see, this is the Thomas Townsend Brown effect. Asymmetrical capacitors. Asymmetrical capacitors meaning not equal. Asymmetrical capacitors cause asymmetric lift, meaning the lift in one direction. And he's saying, wow, we figured out this concept. And then at the end, it says, you're going to have this new propulsion where the air is going to flow in the inside of the engine there and out the back and around the hull. And this is going to be what flies you around. No propellers. Does that sound familiar? That's literally a magnetohydrodynamics. That's what they're talking about right there. They're talking about it before anybody had any idea what they were describing when they were showing this image. That's a crude image. Like, just take out the part in the front. You don't need that. You just shoot your laser in front of you to pre-ionize the plasma, and then the plasma sucks through the middle, and you create a magnetic trap in the middle to cause fusion to occur, and now you have an engine. And the engine can just fly around, doesn't need anything else on it. Covered in a bubble of plasma, boom, there you go. Wow. Honestly, the first time I watched that with Robert Forward, it brought a tear to my eye. Because that's the guy that is so much more significant than what people realize. If he was Eric Davis's mentor and knew Hal Puthoff and wrote that paper about the Casimir effect, about 0-point energy, then he was way more significant than what the public understands. And there's not a lot of seeing his face. Plus, think about this angle. These guys got connected with this TV show that was big enough to get Gillian Anderson, who is mega star of the X-Files, to be their host of this TV show. And it's got the biggest Black Project names that existed in the 90s showing their faces on it, that we can't find any content of them anywhere else, anywhere on the internet. Think about that. Does it feel a little bit controlled? Like this was planned to get this information out? At a bare minimum, they communicated with one another to plan to get this information out through the media. And possibly there's even a plan bigger than that to disseminate the knowledge about the physics and the information about it. So if you thought that was all, not even close, chat. Now I'm worried about even showing the link to the second one. Do I have the other part? I'm just going to play this other clip before I play the second video.
Like the magazine cover, Myrabo's craft will use an external.
So this is, I did save the next part of it. Okay. Woo, chat. We got saved. This is the next part of the same video. Right after that video, that part in the same episode, the next part is about Leik Myrabo, who worked on the laser light sail craft, which everybody thought, because it's called a light sail, they thought it works like a sailboat where you have a sail and you just shoot like a laser beam into it. No. They took it in another direction. A laser beam can also pull you forward as well. And also, the laser beam is not going to be used for that. They can use the laser beam to cause fusion to happen. Instead, something more practical is like the Bussard ramjet, which is going to collect the hydrogen. So anyway, here we go. But this is really interesting. So now think about it. We've learned so much about plasma physics, magnetohydrodynamics. So now think about all this in terms of plasma, ions, electrons. And when you think about it in that perspective, you realize these guys were talking about stuff that even today, if I saw content like this today, I would be posting it all over Twitter. I would be posting these videos. I would be talking about this. I would be saying this is the next generation stuff. And yet this is from the 90s. Nobody's doing content like this today. Anyway, only people close is me. Anyway, here we go.
Just like the magazine cover, Myrabo's craft will use an external power source. Beams of energy in the...
I gotta say, external power source? Well, what are we talking about here, chat? External power source. When people watch this must have just bounced right off them. Anything where someone say we have an external power source, you should just be like, okay, what? How does that work? What does that mean? I mean, this should be, everybody should want this.
Form of microwaves.
Well, what you have to imagine is highways of light.
There he is.
A vehicle flies on an energy beam highway to space or around the planet. So all energy comes from outside the vehicle itself, off-board energy.
Bursts of microwave power turn the surrounding air into a plasma, which is then forced past electrodes on the light craft's rim, accelerating it to 25 times the speed of sound.
What? Holy shit, Chad. He's talking about gravity manipulation. He's talking about making a particle accelerator in your plasma. The only thing we got wrong was the geometry of how it's all going to work. That's the only thing they're missing. They've got the basics of the physics figured out there. Magnetic wormhole is all we're going to create. The thing we missed is that apparently you take 3 balls of plasma and you spin it around and just have them converge. Figure out the right frequency. Maybe there's some heartbeat frequency of the universe. We haven't really quite figured that out yet, but the fact that they are like this far advanced should really be scaring people. We're not talking about like, hey, they're just one Nobel Prize ahead. It's like, no, they figured out plasma balls that can float and become drones. And then they took it to some next crazy level. We're like, yeah, combine them together with the AI supercomputer and have it spin around shit and come together. Like start incorporating nuclear physics. Like, bro, at some point, was anyone like, hey, you think we should tell people about this? Seems like we're getting kind of advanced here. It's like starving Ethiopians that can't get enough rice to eat. If you care about third worlders, if you care about first worlders, we got 700,000 homeless people. We could like use this to fix all the problems in the world. Nope. We're going to use it to teleport airplanes and shit. Jesus Christ, man. Okay. Wait, where's my clip? Here we go.
The world may never be the same again.
You don't have to go to an airport because there probably won't be any airports where it takes 45 minutes to get around the planet. Why would you want to spend an hour to 2 hours, commuting to your airport? Wouldn't make any sense. We're looking at a transportation system that you would call, like you call a cab today. So these craft would come to your house in your local neighborhood, pick you up, collect several other people, and go over to a boost station, a beam boost station, and then you're on your way. You blast off into the sky, headed toward the moon, or to the far side of the planet, or just a couple of 100 miles down the road.
I mean, does that sound familiar to you guys, or am I just the only one who sounds like he's explaining exactly how the orbs work? I mean, who is Leik Myrabo? How does he know all of this? So Leik Myrabo, he's saying you would go to the jump station, you get in the jump station, then you're going to appear where you want to go. You're on the other side. But this is like a very specific sci-fi theory of teleportation. There's certain theories of teleportation where you can just be disappeared in one location and reappear anywhere else. There are other forms of teleportation where you have to have like a warp gate travel, where it's like, oh, you have to go into this over here, and then it shoots you out over here. And it turns out that seems to be the way it works. The thing we didn't realize, that we didn't anticipate, was that your warp gate can move around. Some smart dude was like, hey, you know what? We don't need to have a fixed warp gate over here. These orbs spin around. They can make a warp gate because they're going to converge on the plane and create this temporary energy burst. These guys, man. Okay. I'm going to have to say the other one because it looks like we just got a whole video deleted off the internet. But I'm going to check the Discord. Actually, maybe somebody came through for us. Yeah, I do have the URL. I'll share that URL. Hold up. So I'll just tell you guys the other one, though. It's not that big a deal. So the other Yahtzee moment that nobody was anticipating in that video, right before the Robert Forward part that I showed you guys, the first clip, there's another video about a guy talking about free energy. Free energy? What? So you watch it and you realize, wow, this is actually about water. It's about hydrogen. It's about hydrogen, and these guys decide that there's this huge amount of energy in water, in hydrogen. And so what we're going to do is they're going to shoot it, turn it into like a gun, watch it explode. So they start doing these tests, exploding the water, making like literally shooting holes through like aluminum, just plowing holes through it like a bullet, like a gun, by just shooting a voltage through it, high voltage through it. Just like it causes the water to basically break apart and destroy. You know what the crazy part is? The Yahtzee moment is that they said they saw excess energy coming out of the system. What? And they said it was hard for us to measure, but it seems like there's excess energy coming out of the system. And you know what I said? I said, holy shit, chat. The ground state of the hydrogen atom. It's been getting proven over and over again. I said, I know how we can prove the MH370 videos are real. I know how we can prove the physics is real. I even know how we can prove all those blue-pilled academic retards. We can prove them all wrong. All we have to do is prove that the ground state of the hydrogen atom is stable because it's pulling energy from the 0-point energy field. And how do you do that? Any experiment using hydrogen that shows excess energy proves that that energy must have a different source. And guess what? There's a whole shitload of them that have already done it. And we've just been ignoring it. We've been ignoring, including this example that's given in this video from the 90s. They're going, boom, there's excess energy. And then I thought for myself and I went, wait a minute. What about the cold fusion cover up? Play the music. Hold up. Cold fusion cover up was using deuterium, heavy hydrogen, in palladium rods. Chat, it was hydrogen the whole time. They had 60 reproductions of excess energy. They've been covering up the fact that the ground state of the hydrogen atom is higher. It can be reduced, that you can pull energy from the hydrogen atom. Any experiment using hydrogen plasma, even water experiments. This is how the car that was running on water, all of this mythology about water and free energy is because it all goes back to the basic, most fundamental concept. How is that electron spinning around the hydrogen atom at like a million times a second? It's higher than that, I think. How is it spinning around the hydrogen atom so many times without crashing in to the nucleus? It should be losing energy as it's spinning like that and eventually crashing into the nucleus, but it never does. Never does. And that opens the door to this idea that you can squeeze that atom, squeeze that electron orbital and get a little bit of energy out. And if you can do that, then it'll replenish itself. Now, the hydrogen atom turns into a trampoline where you're now able to bloop, bloop. So, this is the answer, though. Like, literally, I'm not joking. We know exactly which angle to press. Put all focus, the research. We just have to prove that the hydrogen atom has more energy in it than what classic physics shows. Doing any experiment that extracts that energy. In fact, even the Casimir Garrett Modell's patent, the Casimir cavity patent, that's doing the same thing too. So any of these concepts that can prove, actually, hopefully I'm not wrong on that. I think he might be using that hydrogen, but any concept that can prove that the hydrogen atom can pull excess energy out will open the whole, blow the whole floodgates wide open. The reason being, this is also requires an extra dimension, because where's that energy coming from? What is this 0 point energy? If it's not, it's like there, but not really there. Where is it? It's in the extra dimension. We can take this idea of the extra dimension. We can take this 0 point energy. We can wrap everything in a bow chat, and we can put a rubber stamp on all physics. We got that bitch unified. This is the secret weapon. For those wondering, watching the stream, what is this secret weapons Ashton talking about? If you stuck around this long, that is it. The unification of physics, figuring out, understanding this concept of the universe, opens the door to weapons beyond your imagination. Literally beyond your imagination. Causing, like what we just caused, weapons to just fizzle out and crash back down. People to become paralyzed, not be able to move. Literally time dilating people into the far future. We can send people to the future like you shoot somebody out the airlock. Bye. Bye. We can do stuff that you could barely even begin to imagine. And this was stuff, you know, and what we know is basically what we know they had over 10 years ago. So we're probably a lot more advanced now. Okay. Second video. More Yahtzees. Where is it? I'm definitely not going to share this link because, man, y'all be getting my videos taken down, chat. Here it is. Okay. Actually, wait, maybe if I had that the whole time, I would be upset. Hold on. Oh, I had it the whole. My God, chat. I ruined it. I ruined the stream. Stream's turning off. We're done. I ruined it. I'm just kidding. I actually had the clip the whole time because it was from the second one. Wow. Okay. Well, here's another episode that you're going to get taken down. We're going to download this before it gets taken down. Same series, I think. Weird Science.
Huge amounts of energy trapped in one of the most abundant chemicals on the planet. H2O.
There is energy to be found in common water, which has remained untapped only because it hasn't been looked for.
Richard Hall is no mad scientist. He's one of a growing number of researchers who think there's more to water than we ever imagined.
When I was a boy, I could see all kinds of things in clouds. Today, when I look up there, I think, oh, there's 3 tons of water floating around there.
Peter Greneau helped to develop electrically powered guns for the U.S. military. One day, he started to wonder what would happen if a gun...
Pause. I mean, God, how can it be so on the nose? But people have no idea. He developed electromagnetic guns for the military. And you just brushed over that? Oh yeah, okay. This guy that says there's like infinite energy in water. He's busy building electromagnetic guns for the military. This is where like the disconnect between the public and really just the enlightened high IQ futurists like ourselves is so disparate. It's like the equivalent between a billionaire in the first world and like a starving Somalian third worlder. Like that's the disparity that we're dealing with here in terms of like intellectual disparity. Because these guys were explaining this stuff in the 90s, talking about electromagnetic weapons. And we're in 2025. And the president of the United States is saying that we're using sonic weapons and stuff that nobody knows about. And they're going, electromagnetic weapons is fake pseudoscience, and so is directed energy weapons. Even though Lockheed Martin has like a whole website page dedicated to directed energy weapons. We're just living in a disconnected society is really what it boils down to.
Could be adapted to fire water instead of bullets. He teamed up with Richard Hull to find out.
You get a short piece of lightning.
Water and electricity, the awesome force of a thunderstorm exploding from the barrel of a gun. A thimbleful of water, a high-voltage electric spark.
12 kilovolts.
Water explodes at 3,000 miles an hour.
And this seems to cut neat, clean holes in quarter-inch aluminum plate.
Straight through.
But these water explosions were weirder than either of them could have ever imagined.
Get ready.
It appeared that there was more energy out of this explosion than was ever put into it.
There is a
booyah! There was more energy that came out than was ever put into it. OMG, chat. Big brainers, where's the energy coming from? All it is water and electricity. What's going on? Where's that excess energy? Oh, I think I know. It must be pulling it just like the trampoline. Boing. You just got double bounced, bitch. Boing. Must be, guys, now I'm ready. Like, because this is the thing. People are always asking me early on, how are you going to prove it? How are you going to prove this stuff? And this is what smart physicists are thinking about. They're thinking about, because everybody's got their own theories, but it's like, how are you going to prove, how are you going to predict something? How are you going to predict something and show something to be real? And the answer is, A, we're going to show the ground state of the hydrogen atom. And now we know what it means. This means aneutronic fusion is going to be outputting more energy than classic physics explains. This is where we can nail David Kirkley. I can't wait. Chat, don't ruin the surprise. Maybe I might have to honeypot him. I don't know if he's gay, but let's be honest, chat. I can seduce him. Let's be real. I'll go, chat. I would go Brown Ashton, and I could seduce David Kirkley. Look, oh my God, you kidding? Easily. I'll be like, yo, tell me for real, bro. Tell me for real. Little pillow talk. You producing excess energy? How's that aneutronic fusion rolling? Because, I've been doing a little bit of research, and my research is telling me that plasma should be maybe interacting with the 0 point energy, which would mean we're probably going to be getting excess energy out of our fusion reactions, even if we do it the legit way. I'm telling y'all, David Kirkley would spill all the beans. He would just be sitting there going, oh, you're so cute. You know so much science. I'm going to honeypot him, chat. I'm going to dye my hair blonde and honeypot David Kirkley. We're going to get disclosure the O'Keefe way, the James O'Keefe way. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to this video because this gets even crazier here.
New kind of energy involved in there, which we didn't know about. Where does it come from? We don't believe in miracles. And the most obvious place to look for it is in the water itself.
It's long been a dream in science fiction to have this energy in limitless amounts.
Where does the energy come from? The most logical place to look for it is in the water. Well, there's only two things in the water, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen. So Must be one of those things where excess energy is coming from. Must be one of those things. Lulu, no. Okay, we're gonna fast forward it a little bit here. Tom Hudson's, he's pinging me. Well, let's look at Gillian Anderson's great body, 90s. Every nerd was in love with her.
Neither have NASA, who've started tests on Jim's invention.
The weird science files don't end.
The reason why so many dudes are obsessed with redheads, right there. Smart, independent science woman. They will push back, lots of sexual tension. That's the recipe for a 90s relationship right there. Boom. Tell us more, Jillian.
There. How about anti-gravity? Weightlessness at the flick of a switch. It's an idea that dates back more than 100 years to the dawn of modern science fiction.
How about anti-gravity? Well, you know what? Sign me up. Sign me up, Scully. Sign me up for a little bit of anti-gravity. Are y'all ready, chat? Are you ready for some science? I know I am. Here we go.
H.G. Wells' spaceship in The First Men in the Moon was powered by a magical substance called caberite, a metal that shielded anything it surrounded from the Earth's gravity. It was an idea that caught on in the science fiction of the 20s and 30s.
Anti-gravity is a kind of flying carpet, a magic carpet. It allows us to float. It allows us to travel as fast as we wish. Gravity itself is something science fiction writers and readers have long dreamed to be free of. The gravity well of Earth is something terrifying. It's a prison.
And
Bro, what was that camera angle that guy was? This is like, hey, you know what? We're gonna put the camera in the corner, and we're gonna have you like looking down on it. But anyway, he made a really good point, though. He did say a really good point. Gravity well, our gravity well is like a prison. If you just think of everything in terms of entropy, that's how I think about things now, chat. I'm like Neo. I just see things as entropy now. I see us as low entropy beings. You think about it, you go, what is restricting us here? Is that there's this gravity well that basically means that unless you're technologically advanced enough, you can't escape that well. And we can escape it. Well, we escape it in the most stupid caveman way possible, which is a chemical rocket. We make a big boom go up. But that's not efficient. We can do it. It's not efficient. If you wanted to have one person escape, it would be great. But if you want to have 1 billion people escape this prison, then you need something a lot more efficient than that. God damn, I am just dropping amazing analogies tonight, chat. Respect to me. Okay, keep going.
oh, how we long to escape.
Magic carpet.
Right after the World War, and
There he
when
is.
people had
Robert
seen
Forward.
that if
By
you
the
threw
way,
enough money at him,
Robert Forward, chill. Bro, hold on. Is that a white bow tie? Is my man rocking the all white hair and white bow tie? Holy shit, he has style. You know what? I might even rock a white bow tie from now on. You know, oh my goodness. I did not know my guy had drip like this. Oh, I'm sorry, Unc. I was not familiar with your game. Ooh. Okay.
problem, like the amount of money that was put into making an atom bomb, you can solve the problem. And so many people said,
hold on. That was like, you know, an oddly specific reference. Like the problem of the atom bomb. You can solve the problem. Well, please do tell Robert Forward. Why is the problem of anti-gravity like the problem of the atom bomb? Wow, it's so weird, huh? That's your reference? Okay. Please continue.
well, we're in the airplane business, and we really are in the anti-gravity business because we lift people up in the air and put them down again. Maybe if we put enough money into research, we can make an anti-gravity machine.
Wow. Plus, I love how he says that we're in the anti-gravity business. This is the truth. Anti-gravity is basically a term for stupid people. I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. I love you, but anti-gravity is a term for stupid people. Everything that causes us to fly is anti-gravity. Gravity just means a force opposite to gravity. This is why we just miss the forest for the trees sometimes. When you look at those orbs spinning around the plane, people think, whoa, it's anti-gravity orbs. You're like, dude, is a balloon an anti-gravity balloon too? It's just a fucking engine flying around in the sky. Just because it's not shaped like a rocket doesn't mean it's aliens. Just means somebody was thinking outside the box. Okay. Back at it.
In the 1950s, you'd be forgiven for thinking that anti-gravity was just around the corner. But gravity just wouldn't let go. Today, there are still people who refuse to give up hope.
We know that at some time in the future, it will be possible to control gravity.
We have a goat sighting, chat. We are DEFCON 1. There is a goat sighting, a secret goat sighting never before seen. Holy shit. Oh, I'm reeling. I'm reeling, chat. OMG. Oh, my God.
The real question is when.
Franklin Mead,
Holy
Advanced Concepts
shit.
Office, U.S. Air Force.
There he is. Franklin B. Mead, the supreme goat that we have been, the pink dragon that we have been hunting. We have been drug addicts, and our fix is we need anti-gravity. Even me, using the primitive terms. We need gravity manipulation. We need fusion, aneutronic fusion, gravity manipulation. We need to abuse the 0-point fields. We need to do whatever we got to do. Give us the free energy. What the fuck's going on? You know what? I got to go back like 10 seconds here. What was it? Because what, not only does Franklin B. Mead appear on the screen like the fucking Batman, he's like, it's like Matt Damon showing up at a cameo, just shows his face. No, like introduction, because everybody just knows. That's his appearance. And then what does he say right here? Listen very closely to the very first words Franklin B. Mead says.
Still people who refuse to give up hope.
We know that at some time in the future, it will be possible to control gravity.
Holy shit in a bucket. We know at some point in the future, it will be possible to control gravity. Boom. Mike Dropperino. That's the first thing that Franklin B. Mead says in the first video that I've ever seen of him in my life. The man that I basically dedicated 2 years to uncovering not only all his scientific papers, but all the scientific papers of everybody that he's ever been affiliated with. That's where you're at right now, watching on your stream right now. That's the man. The very first thing he said is it's not even a matter. It's just a matter of when. This is why when people say space-time manipulation, you're so stupid and wacky. I go, do you know why Franklin B. Mead is saying that? He's saying that because he understands first principles. He understands E equals MC squared. Hopefully I'm not going to say it. Wait, well, actually, I'll just cheat. Space-time tells matter how to move. Matter tells space-time how to curve. Remember this quote because it's by one of the most supreme goats of all, John Archibald Wheeler. Space-time tells matter how to move. You're always moving straight. Space-time forces you to curve. But from your perspective, you're moving straight. Then matter tells space-time how to curve. It's matter that causes the curvature as well. So there's this back and forth interaction between space-time and matter. And if that's the case, then of course we can manipulate gravity. I'm manipulating gravity, moving my hand around. It's just a very, very small amount. So you would then say, Ashton, well, okay, how do you manipulate gravity significantly? I would say you need more matter, more energy, more mass than my hand. How do you get more? Well, that's what energy density is. Energy density is more of this compacted down into a smaller spot. Now you're talking about fusion. Now you're talking about inertial confinement fusion, because that's literally what that is. That's why they call it inertial confinement, because you're confining your object into a smaller and smaller space. Now do you see that not only is gravity manipulation inevitable, but it also is fundamentally connected to fusion? This is why they all had to be suppressed. This is why we don't have these technologies, even though you're listening to people from the Air Force from 30 years ago saying that it's inevitable. How do we not have it? This is the face of a man right here who's defeated. I know that face because he is me. That might be me in the future if I could turn my eyes blue. Because you realize, the first thing you realize when you get in the club is you realize the deep state was right. Humans are just cattle. Cattle to be abused, cattle to be told what to think. We're basically just sheep on this planet. And you realize that, and you realize you're never in your lifetime going to wake the people up. That's the look in those eyes right there of a man who knows more than most people will ever know and knows that the world will never understand it. So the desperation shot, you know what? Going to go ahead and do some TV show for the BBC. Okay, please continue, Frank Mead, my goat.
The real question is when.
Franklin Mead, Advanced Concepts Office, U.S. Air Force.
We're getting to the end of the line in conventional propulsion, and the Air Force is looking for new and revolutionary ways to get into and move around in space.
Dr. Mead's search for anti-gravity began when he unearthed an obscure set of experiments dating back to the 1950s. The inventor was one Tom.
Whoa. 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 This isn't about to happen, is it? This is where I start to wonder, maybe I am a time traveler. I actually do sometimes wonder that maybe a more logical explanation of all this is that I'm a time traveler or I'm an alien. Because I'm really, really afraid that we're about to hear that Franklin B. Mead got interested in all of this because he researched a man named Thomas Townsend Brown. Asymmetrical capacitors. Electromagnetism is the solution to everything. Okay, Dana Scully, go ahead and please repeat what you were about to say to the crowd before I said that and crash out.
Gravity began when he unearthed an obscure set of experiments dating back to the 1950s. The inventor was one Thomas Townsend Brown.
Holy shit, chat. Holy. Oh boy. Oh boy, it's happening.
Brown claimed he'd made flying saucers float in an anti-gravity field, but his work was left unfinished.
Thomas Brown's work began with a pendulum with a capacitor at the bottom, and when this capacitor was charged up with high voltage, something on the order of 30, 40,000 volts, it somehow got lighter. It either pushed against something or the mass decreased. Somehow you were getting a thrust that was lifting that capacitor up, which is what everybody would like in terms of an anti-gravity device.
Anti-gravity is one of the things that science fiction writers have always loved, and perhaps might not be so.
So, wow, it's true. The legends are true. We can now connect Thomas Townsend Brown to the resurrection of this technology by Franklin Mead in the 70s. In the 70s, and he was working on it in the 80s. That's what, looking at his scientific papers, they start going crazy in the 70s through the 90s. But this guy clearly, from me looking at his work and his whole body of papers, maybe even before the 70s, he had an inkling, but he clearly knew something. So he gets onto this idea of electromagnetism solving all this. And clearly he was be given some level of agency within the Air Force, because he was the one that was signing on this work. He's hiring Eric Davis. He's the program manager for those papers. So he's working on these concepts with the military. And he got the ideas from Thomas Townsend Brown. How would people not realize electromagnetism is connected to gravity? You have to be living under a rock to not realize electromagnetism is connected to gravity. Let me just lay it down for you real quick. If you look at the form, when I say form, I mean lay out the equation for electric force. You lay out the equation for electric force, charge 1 times charge 2, all times a constant, divided by r squared, the distance between them squared. Very logical. There's two objects. Electric charge is going to be based on the distance between them, right? Whether or not they're attractive or they're opposite or the same depends on whether it's attractive or repulsive. Very simple. What is gravity? The exact same equation. What? It's the exact same form. Meaning, literally, the force of gravity is a constant times G1 times G2 divided by r squared. How can you look at two equations that the only difference is the constant and not go, maybe there's a connection between these two things? Especially when there's 100 years of literature of people attempting, in some cases, partially successfully, unifying them. This is probably where Franklin B. Mead's like, just blow my brains out. Just blow them out. Nobody's going to understand this. It's 1990s, and he found 50s science and technology, and nobody believed it back then in the 90s. Now, here we are resurrecting his work. Here we are resurrecting Franklin Mead's work, and nobody's going to believe it now. Oh. You know what? History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. Okay, keep going.
So far from science fact.
Anymore?
Of all the forces in nature, gravity is the one that's most familiar to people day to day, but it's the one that we understand the least. And in some theories of gravity, the gravity that we know turns out to have two bits to it. There's a big bit, which drags us to Earth, and a little bit on the top, which is like anti-gravity.
Could Brown have stumbled across a way of magnifying that naturally occurring anti-gravity? Top brass from the Navy paid him a visit, but their report dismissed his results as experimental anomalies.
What? Holy shit! They also just laid it out. He said, if you look at the T.T. Brown effect, you could argue that you're seeing a little bit of anti-gravity. And then if that's the case, then is that equivalent of negative energy? Are we therefore seeing a little bit of negative energy? Does that mean that negative energy is just a matter of looking at electromagnetism from a different angle? Positive and negative charge? Is that all we really had to be doing this whole time? And then the Navy, top brass from the Navy gave him a visit. So now I'm sitting here wondering, wait, he was with the Air Force. I've been saying that the Air Force seems to be the one gatekeeping. Is it just everybody gatekeeping everybody else? So, I mean, is this revenge gatekeeping? I don't really put anything past these people. It could be as petty as middle school shit, for as far as I know. You've got Salvatore Pais, who is working with the Navy. He says Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, maybe not Eric Davis directly, but Hal Puthoff, Jay Stratton, some douchebags, rolled up and shut down his whole thing he had going on to try to do his electromagnetic field generator. Pretty similar to these other experiments. And now we're hearing that Franklin Mead was trying to do this. And the Navy rolled up to the Air Force and said, nah, this is fake. The effect's not big enough. Weird. Whatever is going on with this, it's weird. It's kind of cringe a little bit, actually. I don't really like it. I don't like the vibes I'm getting from this whole cover-up. And I do want to be honest, I'm not getting alien vibes from this. The vibes I'm getting from this are not, we reverse engineered this from aliens. The vibes I'm getting from this are we basically didn't stop the Manhattan Project, and we've been doing crazy shit in these black projects on these DOE labs and also in these defense contractor labs that are protected from FOIA. That's the vibe I'm getting. Because some of these people are all about aliens, but very few of them. And you would think if you're working on alien technology, you would be into aliens. You're like, oh, well, I work on alien technology. I might be into the idea of aliens. So that's just the vibe I get. Okay, so Franklin Mead's going to respond to what the claims that the Navy shut him down. Here we go.
Frank Mead says they got it wrong.
I wasn't happy with what the Navy had done. There were some discrepancies there. They really didn't make that accurate a measurement. And underneath all of this, there still could have been an anti-gravity effect.
So Dr. Mead decided to reopen the files. He repeated Brown's experiments. Against all expectations, the flying saucers behaved as Brown had predicted. It appears that there may have been something in it after all.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yes, of course it worked. Of course it worked. Because decades later, 2 decades later, leaked videos got on the internet that show your little plasma ball, ramjet, scramjet, fusion reactor, whatever the fuck you got going on with your plasma ball thing, spinning around MH370 in the covert operation the military and CIA planned and zapping that MFer right out the sky. And it's not annihilation. It's not annihilation because they didn't figure out the exact chemical makeup and make an exact counter makeup to make it totally annihilate. They figured out wormhole technology. They figured out space-time manipulation. They took the nuclear secrets about extra dimension and they turned it into some crazy Star Trek, maybe even like, I don't even know, hopefully not Warhammer 40,000 kind of stuff. We got Montauk Project going on here. I don't even know how deep this is going to go. Okay. Whew. Let's see where this finishes up here, and then we'll close it out.
Anomaly or anti-gravity?
I'm not willing to just rule it out. There's still theoretical evidence that says that there might be a way of coupling electricity and magnetism with anti-gravity, and that's important. And Townsend Brown always believed that he had something.
Brown and his team may have celebrated prematurely, but if Mead's hunches are correct, we'd do well to keep the champagne on ice.
It makes sense why they would be celebrating. Because why would Thomas Townsend Brown be celebrating with champagne? Those are real videos of him, by the way, celebrating after they figured out this effect. Because they figured out a unification theory and they knew immediately. The moment you are able to control the force of gravity with electromagnetism, now you have figured out that there is a unification theory that unifies electromagnetism and gravity. You know, even if you don't know all the details, you know that must be the case. So even if you don't have the theory that supports it all, this is why I say, I see a lot of physicists out there arguing about whose theory is more right. In fact, there's a lot of people, there's going to be more of them in my replies saying that I'm the one that figured this out. You need to look at my work. You see other people are going to say, you stole this idea from me. I'm the one that figured. Everybody wants to have all the attention. See that everywhere I look. I don't care. I literally do not care. Just like I don't care about the aliens, I don't care whose theory is correct. In fact, I think there should be a rule that no physics theories are allowed to be named after people. Your theory must have some generic name because it's easier for people to learn ideas than it is for people to learn, oh, this person's name means this theory that I have to now remember. In fact, do you know who was against this famously? You aren't going to believe it. Anyone in the chat know? Who was against using proper names for physics theories and science? Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman could never remember what person's name meant what physics theory and concept. And so he would never remember them or talk about it. How crazy is that? Richard Feynman of all of them. Bingo. You got it, Jason. You got it. Wow. And that guy was the GOAT, man. That guy, if I have somebody that I align with the most, it's his whole personality and approach to physics, which is not based on your pedigree. It's based on looking at natural reality and trying to be able to explain it. That's what physics and science have always been about. It's always been about. And if you believe the same, then you are at the right place. The home of the four orbsies. Okay, guys, let's see. What do I have for us tonight to close this one out? God, what a crazy, crazy day and an amazing live stream. Donald Trump popping off for 2 hours straight, just dunking on people. We got to see Robert Forward for the first time and Franklin Mead, the legend. And the first thing he says is that it's just a matter of time until we can manipulate gravity. Well, time's up. It's been 20, 30 years. Time's up. Time to reveal the technology. Time to let people know the truth. Time for us to move to the next, to where we belong. Okay, let's do a moment of Zen, and then I'll go through our super chats that we have tonight. I'm going to save that one for later. I think our moment of Zen here is going to be something a little bit more humorous, as it were. So, chat, when you wonder, people sometimes say, Ashton, why are you so negative? Why are you so pessimistic? Why are you always calling people retards? Why are you always saying that everybody's stupid? Because they are stupid. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish we were a smart enough society so that we could have nice things, so that we could have warp drives, so that we could have free energy. But we have to face the reality that these stupid primitives, they're going to destroy us. And if you disagree, then just watch this clip and tell me with a straight face that these people deserve free energy, fusion, warp drives. Please tell me with a straight face.
There is an O, yeah. Anything else?
I'd like to solve.
Okay.
Renting a paddle boat.
No, that is not correct. Sean, it's your turn.
So you may be wondering, I don't want to make people feel stupid here. There's only a few letters missing. It's clearly renting. Clearly says A. There's a word that starts with P here and a D in it. And there's clearly a boat at the end. So you would think, why did that person get it wrong? They said renting a paddle boat. Isn't that what what it says on here? No, that's not what it says on here. Let's just go to the next person, see how we do. Let's see if there's any faith in humanity.
500.
T.
Yes, 2 T's.
Okay.
Okay.
By an E.
Mm-hmm. There are 2 E's.
Okay, here we go.
No more vowels.
I like to solve.
Yeah.
Renting a paddle boat.
No, that's not right. Michelle, you have $3,000. You can spin again, but you don't have to.
Can he see the letters on the screen? There's only one letter missing, and it's clearly an L. What is the word P-E-D-A-L? It's not paddle. Paddle is P-A-D-D-L-E. P-E-D-A-L is a different word. Okay, let's see. This can't get worse, though. Right? She's spinning, chat. She's spinning the wheel. I'm concerned that she's spinning the wheel. Maybe she's just spinning the wheel because she knows she just wants to take a roll at the money, get that $1 million you see on the screen, and just say L and get that extra $1 million. Let's see how this goes.
600. What letter do you want?
M.
No. Crystal.
I have to spin.
M. A pedum boat? Ma'am, I don't understand how you can be sitting there watching the two people in front of you and say M here. There's a lot of wrong responses, but that one, it just doesn't make any sense to me. M, the Pedem boat. It's the Pedem boat. And then the last lady. I think we've gone full circle now. I think we're back to the original lady that already got it wrong once. She says, I have to spin. You have to spin? We're not going to make it, chat. We're not going to make it. Warp drives aren't going to happen. We all just have to come to terms with this. This is the nature of our reality that we're experiencing here. Let's finish this off.
900.
W?
No.
W. The pedal boat. The pedal boat. She thinks she's Timber Chet. The pedal boat, chat. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Super chats. Wow, Pill Chat. I haven't seen the Pill Chat this busy ever. Hey, guys. How's it going, everybody in the Pill Chat? Thank you very much, Mr. Joe Man. Methyl. See you guys in the chat. Appreciate you very much, brothers. And thank you for the cookie, P-Quest. Nom, nom. Delicious cookie. Nom, nom. That's what I am now. I've fallen off so far now that I do emojis for Pill Chat cookies and things like that. The poor Rumble fan. Rumble fam can't even donate, even if they wanted to. They're just here for the love of the game. Rumble fam, thank you, Rumble. Steve's B. Carney is selling Canada to the CCP. Not anymore. He's not. Put a cancellation on that. Plus, by the way, did you guys see the news? I almost forgot. Trump now says Diego Garcia is the biggest mistake to sell Diego Garcia. Chat. If we get the Diego Garcia deal turned around, I'm taking credit. I'm pretty sure I'm on record saying I'm taking credit like a year ago. Over a year ago, I was making posts talking about the tote bag and broccoli carrying, NPR tote bag, broccoli carrying libs that have been screwing us over and how they're giving away Diego Garcia. If it turns out that happens, I might orgasm on screen. If we make that deal stop. One person is not meant to have this much power. Not meant to have this much power. It's going to go to my head. By the way, we're buying Canada. Canadians, you're on notice. You're on notice beyond your best behaviors. Because let's be honest, your country's not worth that much money. We could buy you easily. Steesby again, Europeans funded and armed natives against us. I don't even know what that means. Honestly, I have no clue what that means. But here's the simple facts. There's no reason to be racist about immigrants or anything like that. Immigrants are fine as long as you're legal. If you are an illegal immigrant in a country that is not your country, that you don't belong in, get out. I wouldn't hang out in a country I don't belong in. The reason why we have these in place is because we need to be able to control our population, our citizens, and we want to have some control over our economics. If we just allow literally anybody to come in with no laws and they're not paying taxes, kind of breaks our whole rule of law thing. That's all you need to know. Not more anyone trying to make it more complicated than that is usually doing it for political reasons. Because it's really not more complicated than that. And the people are trying to say the ICE are doing bad things. Dude, they're the only people they're deporting are people that are not Americans. You can't get deported from America if you're American. Pretty simple stuff here, guys. It's not deep. This is why I worry about people. Like, we're never going to get warp drives and fusion and all this shit if we're still struggling with like pretty simple stuff. Blue plasma balls. I love your name, by the way. Trump keeps mentioning the powerful weapons he can't talk about. It's like he wants us to know bad. Exactly. Do you think we would ever use them again? Like, are you kidding? Of course. We might have used some version of that technology in Venezuela. Trump was even alluding to it. And this is the part where the UFO, is anyone like more fallen off worse than the UFO community? Where even is the UFO community? Are they just jerking each other off on Blue Sky nowadays with all the rest of the pedophiles? where are they even at? They were the ones that would be like, Trump is going to give us disclosure if he comes out. And he comes out and he can't stop saying that we've got weapons that nobody understands. It's almost like the UFO people, they voted for Kamala Harris so hard that they don't want Trump to be right so badly that they're just going to ignore the fact that he's vindicating them. It's like they're just cutting out their nose despite their face. Like, he's saying that we got crazy shit. Why not go ahead and, like, even if you didn't believe, like, it would just be a smart move to connect your whole UFO technology thing to what he's saying. But they're not even doing that. My God, are they bad? Instead, we're listening to this crap about great job and telling your story about how you saw the aliens. You're great. Pat you on the back and give you a little head pat. My God, they've totally lost the plot. Totally lost the plot. You're never getting disclosure if you're following the alien people or these people making these little documentaries. You're never getting it, chat. Okay. But yes, will we use the weaponry again? I don't even want to predict stuff related to Trump because the dude's breaking all the paradigms at this point. He's doing things nobody thought was possible. So we don't want to, like, what did Trump say? He says, we don't want to use this technology. That's true. He's being honest. We don't want to use this, but we are going to leverage the fact that we have it. And if you test us, you will get checked. No question. You will get checked. It's not just a matter of bluster or, bootlicking or whatever. Our military intelligence, our intelligence community, and our special forces, they want to wreck your shit. They want to push your shit in. We are basically the floodgates holding them back. Going, yo, chill, bro. Chill. Like, that guy looked at me twisted. That Chinese dude was looking at me twisted like he wanted to research anti-gravity. We need to zap that motherfucker. We need to send him to the nega dimension. Like, yo, chill, bro. That dude's just a random scientist at Beijing University. It's like, bro, he's a threat. He's a fucking threat. We need to teleport his whole plane. Like, that's how those dudes think. For real, though. That's how those dudes think. They're kind of just, on their own path, on the war path. And the Trumps of the world, we're just holding them back, bro. We're holding them back. So do the right thing. Make the Greenland deal go through. Canada should accept their place as a 52 state, because let's be honest, we have you surrounded at this point. We have you surrounded. LMNOP 555 says, great topic. Thanks for the live stream. Glad you guys appreciate it tonight. I saw Josh Polarity in the chat earlier. I might have to try to get him on my podcast. Actually, I don't think have I talked to him on my podcast? I think I just talked to him on a live stream. He's getting huge, though. He's going to be on Rogan next, so we got to suck up, chat. Once we were the big live streamer influencer, now Josh Polarity is the big influencer. Okay. But honestly, just, I'm joking, but he deserves it. His content is really good. I like his setup. I like his production value. And he's very good about handling these sensitive topics. Like, he did the Lynn White interview that I was too afraid to do. I was too afraid to talk to Lynn White, the remote viewer, because of my own preconceived notions. Josh jumped right in. So check him out, guys. Zapparoo, great stream. Save Diego Garcia. Save it from the NPR tote bagging, organic broccoli buying liberals, just like John Kennedy would tell us. And then lastly, wow, huge donut to end the night. Andy Delafield, reverse Uno Diego Garcia. I'm glad you guys liked my reverse Uno reference, because that's something everybody can understand. Thank you for that huge donation, guys. MH370X, take it easy, guys. We'll be back on Friday, maybe with a little bit of felony physics for your Friday. Later, everyone. Peace out.
In the fields where the skies are wide, talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space, traversable paths to a far off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight. Just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow.
Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuum squeeze so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
Thin shell formalism plates so fine, spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Forces balancing the plate, creating the throat, open the gates, from Earth to the stars in a single bound, a shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers hold the key to future worlds and what we could be. With science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread.
We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night. With wormholes and stargates, our path is clear. Exploring the cosmos.